Don't be one of those guys who gets in a motorbike crash and has to set up a GoFundMe campaign to get him back home. And the bill was big, you know, we're talking 50, 60,000 baht. If you're thinking about moving to Phuket and you're doing some research on what it's like to live here, then hopefully this video is going to be helpful for you. I'm going to be sharing some pros and cons of living in Phuket, Thailand. Now, I've been based in Phuket since 2012 and I've seen a lot of changes on the island since then. So I'm going to summarize the good and the bad of living here in Phuket. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so the first point that I'm going to make today is that in general, living here in Phuket is a pretty positive experience. I first moved here in 2012 and I've been here ever since for a reason. Now, I've tried other places. I spent a few months over in Vietnam. I spent some time in Cambodia, as you can see from some of the videos on my channel. But I've always gravitated back to the island of Phuket for the reasons that I'm going to share with you in this video. However, it's not all positive. Like anywhere, there are some negative aspects to living here. Now, I struggle to list those negative aspects because it's overwhelmingly positive, but I'm going to share the pros and cons. So let's start off with one of the pros, which is the cost and the quality of living here in Phuket. Now, although Phuket is a fairly expensive place in terms of Thailand, yeah, it's a tourist area, so it's more expensive than your non-touristic areas, let's say. However, the quality of life here that you can live on not a lot of money, you know. You spend, let's say, 2,000 US dollars here in Phuket, if you don't have kids, that is, which we'll get into this in a second, and you're going to live pretty well, yeah? Now, 2,000 US dollars in the US would, what, pay your rent? 2,000 US dollars in London is, what, 1,800 pounds? It's not going to go very far. For that figure, you can live very, very well here on the island. You can eat out every night. You can, you know, do pretty much whatever you want. You're not going to be drinking champagne and eating caviar, but you can enjoy a very, very good life. You can go to nice gyms. You can go to nice brunches and hotels on a weekend, and you're not going to struggle for cash here, okay, as long as you've got an income coming in. So the quality of life and the cost of living over here is significantly better than in my home country. Now, in the UK, a couple of grand a month, well, you're going to cover your basic expenses, aren't you? It's not going to go a long way. So that's the first one. The first positive is you can live a very, very good life on less money than you would over in the West. However, one of the cons is that job opportunities over here are limited, okay? It's not so easy to find a job with an employer in Phuket. Now, you might have seen some of my other videos, but in Thailand, Westerners, they can't do every single job. You can't just rock up to a 7-Eleven and apply for a job in there, okay? Because the majority of jobs are reserved for Thai people, which is fair enough, really. So you have to do a job that is specialized for foreigners. Now, a pretty popular one is teaching English. Yeah, you meet a lot of English teachers here in Phuket and all around Thailand. Another popular one, which I do myself, is real estate, selling property. You've got quite a few foreigners, now quite a few Russian people as well, selling property here in Phuket. Other than that, the options are fairly limited. Okay, I do know a few chefs who work in hotels. A lot of people now are working online. A lot of the people who you meet who aren't retired here, who are still working, are doing stuff online. Maybe they've got their own online business. Maybe they're trading online. Maybe they're even teaching English online. Okay, but a lot of people living here are working online because the reality is that job opportunities are sparse. It's not just like your home country where you can go and hand in loads of CVs and get yourself a job. So bear that in mind before you come here. Make sure you've got an income source locked in that's going to pay for your lifestyle, right? Okay, back to a positive. The beaches here in Phuket are absolutely quality. That's why people come here, right? White sands, blue seas, absolutely stunning beaches. Now, there's over 30 beaches to choose from. You've got Nai Han, Patong, Qatar, Karon, Ao Yon, Ao Sain. I could go on, yeah? Just take out a map and have a look at all the beautiful coastal areas of Phuket. You could go to a different beach every single weekend. And that's one of the reasons that I love living here. I love nothing more than on a weekend when the weather's good, it's rainy season right now, than heading out to a beach, driving up to a beach and spending the day sitting on the beach, relaxing in a beach club, sipping on cocktails. And again, it's all fairly affordable to do that here, certainly less than you would pay in your home country. Okay, so let's have a look at one of the cons, which is visa issues. Now, you can't just rock up on a tourist visa and stay in Phuket or Thailand forever and keep extending that, okay? You've got to have a long-term visa, which is completely fair enough, you know? They can't just have people rocking up here and staying here forever and, you know, not paying their way. So when it comes to long-term visas, there's various options. You can watch my other video about visas options in Thailand if you want to learn about them. But obviously, visas are going to cost money, yeah? They're not free. So that's going to be an investment that you need to make. If you want to stay here long-term, you're going to need to get a visa, and usually you're going to need to pay for that unless you're working with a company who will sponsor you for your working visa, okay? That's one of the benefits of working with a Thai employer. But visa issues, they're fairly simple as long as you've got the cash to pay for them. Don't come over here expecting to stay forever if you've got no money to pay for a visa, basically. All right, so back to another positive aspect, which is the people. Now, the people here in Phuket in general are fairly friendly. That goes for the Thai people and for the Western, the Farang or the expat people here. Now, you'll meet some really, really colorful characters, some very fascinating people from all around the world as well. In general, the Thai people here are very, very welcoming, very, very friendly. So it's not like back in the UK where, you know, you can walk down the street and nobody will even make eye contact with you. I was back in the UK a few months ago, and I find the atmosphere there to be pretty sour, to be honest with you. Here in Phuket, people are on holiday, they're feeling good, the mood is up, and it's a good place to live as a result. People here are friendly. So that's another positive point of living in Phuket. Now, another potential downside, if you do have kids and they need to go to school, education can be fairly expensive over here. If you're a Westerner with kids who speak English or don't speak Thai, sending them to an international school is probably going to be the best for them, right? And international schools don't come cheap. The top tier international school here charges about 950,000 baht a year. So here, also $1 million baht a year to send a secondary student here. Now, there's some mid-tier international schools that you can get in for like 300,000-400,000. Or there's some sort of low-tier English programs that are even cheaper than that. So there are different options depending on your budget. However, it's not like in the UK where you can, you know, go to a state school and not pay any money, go to a comp and it's paid for by the government. It works a little bit different here. Now, there are government schools. However, whether it would be the right choice for an English-speaking child, I would say no. I wouldn't send my English-speaking child to a Thai school. It would need to be an international program. So the same applies for healthcare, okay, which is my next sort of negative point. I'll just sort of move on to that. Obviously, where I'm from in the UK, we have state healthcare. I know over in the US, it's not the same, but here in Thailand, you do need to pay for healthcare, okay? There is a government system, but you need insurance in order to qualify for that. Now, there are top tier hospitals. The Bangkok Phuket Hospital is one that comes to mind. That is very, very high quality. I was in there for, goodness me, it must have been 4 or 5 nights when I had dengue fever, and the bill was big, you know, we're talking 50, 60,000 baht. Thankfully, I was insured, so I didn't pay that. My insurance company covered that. So if you are coming here to live, be prepared for that, you know. Don't be one of those guys who gets in a motorbike crash and has to set up a GoFundMe campaign to get him back home, you know. Get yourself some insurance. It's not expensive, it's peace of mind, and like I said, healthcare isn't free, so it's a worthwhile investment. All right, let's jump over to the positives, and another positive is the food scene here. Now, I eat out every single night. You can eat out affordably. If you want to spend 100 baht or a couple of dollars, you know, $2.50, you can eat well for that. If you want to spend a couple of $100 and go to a high-end restaurant, you can also do that. Now, I never need to cook at home because it's so affordable to eat out, which is something that I found that it certainly wasn't in the UK. You know, you pay what, £8-10 for a bowl of noodles over there. You'll pay £1 for a good quality bowl of noodles over here. So I don't shop much. I don't cook at home. There's a little restaurant outside on the street. I'll sometimes eat there for a couple of dollars for lunch and go somewhere nicer for my evening meal, somewhere a little bit upmarket. But in general, the food scene here is absolutely quality. If you're a foodie, Phuket is a great place to come. And the final negative about Phuket is, you know, although Phuket is affordable, I've just said you can get bowls of noodles for $1, it's not as cheap as you might think, yeah? Prices in Phuket are going up. Property prices are increasing. Rental prices are increasing. It is true to say that Phuket is one of the most expensive areas in Thailand. Obviously, you've got areas of Bangkok that are very, very pricey. However, Phuket is also pretty expensive. I've certainly noticed an increase in prices since I've been here over the last 10 years, obviously in rent, but in your day-to-day living, you used to be able to live here well for like what, 50,000 baht, 40, 50,000 baht. Back when I was a teacher, that was how much I was making. Now, 50,000 baht, okay, you'll probably struggle and you're not going to live too well in Phuket on 50k once you've factored in everything, including your visa, your rent, your electric, your water, your etc, etc. So Phuket, it's on the rise, the prices. So if you haven't got money or you haven't got an income source and you want to live here long term, well, it's not going to be possible, guys. It's certainly not free to live here. Put it that way. All right, and let's finish off with a positive, which is Phuket has the best of both worlds, okay? Like I said there, you could eat for $2, you could eat for $200. Yeah, I can drive down the road and get brie cheese, get quality wine, get everything that I would get from a Western supermarket, but I can also enjoy quality and affordable Thai food and Thai style living. I mean, if you really wanted to, you could get an apartment here for 4,000 baht a month. Yeah, you could live on the cheap. You wouldn't be taking advantage of everything that Phuket has to offer, but you can do it. Yeah, it's not impossible. You can live like you would in the West effectively and still enjoy the charms of Thailand. So some people might say that's a con. For me personally, it's definitely an advantage. So there you have it, guys. Some pros and cons of living as an expat here in Phuket. I hope you found this video useful. Let me know in the comments if you have, and if you'd like to connect with me and more expats and digital nomads living in Phuket, you can join my free Facebook group, Thailand Expats and Digital Nomads, where you can get advice on moving and living in Thailand. With that said, thanks for watching, and as always, I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.